Today, we're going to talk about a moment that really just redefined men's figure skating. We're going back to the men's final at the 2026 Milan Winter Olympics.
This wasn't just another competition. Not by a long shot. This was a flashpoint. A moment where the absolute limits of what we all thought was possible on ice, they were just completely shattered. So let's get into it.
All right, so first let's set the stage, because what happened here really was a massive turning point in the history of the sport.
Okay, so picture it. The Forum di Milano, the atmosphere in there was just electric, and every single skater felt it. This wasn't just about trying to win a medal, it was about trying to conquer these programs with a level of technical difficulty that was just unheard of, all under the most intense pressure you can possibly imagine.
And this slide, it just perfectly captures the real conflict at the heart of modern skating, doesn't it? On one hand, you have this relentless push for technical insanity, more rotations, bigger risks, and on the other, you have that timeless goal of pure artistry, of making an emotional connection with the audience. Milan 2026 really brought that tension to a boiling point.
Now, to really get why this was all so dramatic, you've got to understand the rules. So let's do a quick breakdown of how this all works. The whole competition basically unfolds in two acts. First up is the short program. Think of it as a quick, super rigid test of your technical skills. Then comes the free skate. It's longer, you have way more creative freedom, and as you can see from the way it's scored, it's where champions are truly made.
Yeah, that short program is just incredibly restrictive. Skaters have to nail every single one of these 7 elements perfectly. There is absolutely no room for error. It's this high-stakes technical exam, and only the top 24 even get to move on.
And when you're out there, under the bright Olympic lights, the pressure is just immense. Here's the kicker. Even a tiny mistake, like a fall or going over on your time, leads to deductions. One slip-up, and a skater's whole Olympic dream can be over in a blink. So, with the rules established, let's talk about the central figure in this whole story, an athlete who wasn't just competing in this new era. He was pretty much defining it.
Heading into Milan, there was one name on everybody's lips, Ilia Malinin from Team USA. And he wasn't just, a contender. He was the overwhelming, hands-down favorite to take home the gold. I mean, his resume really does speak for itself. A 2-time world champion, Milano was already a bit of a legend for just constantly pushing the sport's technical limits. He even threw down a backflip, a move that was banned for decades the second it was allowed again in 2024. That kind of tells you everything you need to know about the kind of performer he is.
But this is what makes him a true revolutionary. He is the one and only skater in the history of the sport to land a clean quadruple axel in competition. That's 4.5 rotations in the air, a jump that people literally thought was impossible.
So for Malinin, Milan wasn't just about another medal. It was about his legacy. After a strong short program, but not a perfect one, he left the door just slightly open for his rivals. It all came down to 4 minutes. The gold medal, his place in history, it was all riding on the free skate.
And what happened next? Well, it was the very definition of shattering the ceiling. Skating last, with all the pressure of the entire world on his shoulders, Milano took to the ice and delivered what was probably the most ambitious, risk-filled program in the history of the Olympic Games. His performance was legendary. He was basically pushing the evolution of the sport forward in real time. He landed this unprecedented arsenal of quadruple jumps, and it all built up to a flawless quad axel. His whole program was just stacked with risk, designed to have the highest base value anyone had ever seen. But he also silenced the critics, weaving it all together with this newfound mature artistry and incredible skating skills. And under that insane Olympic pressure, every single clean landing just sent this shockwave of triumph through the entire arena. So when that final score came up, it was just confirmation. A new world record, the gold medals secured. In that single moment, the big takeaway from Milan became crystal clear. Men's figure skating has fundamentally changed. The old ceilings of what we all thought was possible, they have been completely and utterly shattered.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future, doesn't it? After we've watched an athlete literally redefine the physical limits of skating right before our eyes, where does that leave the balance between raw power and pure artistry? What's next for the soul of this beautiful sport?